The following video clips were created by the Tertiary Education Commissions from selected 2010 Pūtea Piki projects for teachers and kaiako who work with tertiary students in Tauira and want to learn more about the perspectives, views and understandings they bring with them. These resources complement the learning progressions for adult literacy and numeracy by suggesting links to mātauranga Maori and Pasifika worldviews. The approach taken to teaching and learning adult literacy and numeracy uses a three-point model: knowing the demand, knowing the learner, and knowing what to do. Maori and Pasifika artistic thinkers thriving in a world of literacy and numeracy. This project is all about meeting the learning needs of young Maori and Pasifika learners who have often been frustrated in their previous learning environments. This project recognises the strengths that Maori and Pasifika learners bring to the classroom. The focus is on challenging tutors to adopt a range of flexible learning styles to meet the needs of their visual, kinetic, and tactile learners and make training more relevant to their world. The thinking behind ATC's tutor professional development and resource creation is based on the whānau fale model, which has been adapted to have a youth focus and renamed Me, Myself, I. The aim of the model is to gather information that will enable the tutors to better know students' needs and explore their strengths as creative, artistic learners and thinkers. What did the project set out to achieve?
For the tutors, the aim was to train, equip, and even challenge them, their mindset of where they're at right now in their teaching. And the aim was just to encourage and push them forward from where they're at to evolve into something more challenging.
How much of a need was there for this project?
Definitely for our PTEs, the type of students that we have are these artistic thinkers that are cool, and which are really, a lot of times, are visual, kinesthetic and tactile learners. And it's funny because they are very creative. You know, some of these are students that know how to use home tools to get into a car and take a car home, kind of thing. You know, they strategize ideas to be able to do negative stuff, you know, out there in society. And so it's trying to hone that kind of stuff, those negative things that they do, into the classroom, and being able to turn that around to use it in literacy and numeracy, and in their way of thinking. And so definitely a big need. We're struggling with a lot of our Maori and PI that are so good at this, I call it streetwise system, but trying to bring that into a school system. And this method here, I totally believe that that it's very beneficial for our youth. Just seeing students coming in, didn't enjoy doing literacy and numeracy, mainly because the style that they were in at school, it didn't suit their type of learning, being visual and kinesthetic. And when I saw that in our classes, I could see the frustration in them, and it was like almost, oh, here it goes again, they're back in school. So I suppose it was called a positive kind of frustration that I saw, you know, that I could see these students in me as well. Like, you know, that was the same type of upbringing.
So can you tell us about, you know, how you went about getting everyone on board with the project, and how was it for you?
It was pretty easy for us to be able to do that. We were seeing just some weaknesses in our teaching. We have passionate teachers, passionate tutors, but just lacked just some skill and able to bring that passion out, you know, to the students. So I was able to talk to you know, our managers and stuff, and just put a proposal in front of them and say, hey, look, I've got something that could probably help our teachers. And then from there, I was able to go into all our different campuses and pretty much turn it into a professional development. For the professional development, it was more focusing just on the tutors. So I wouldn't be teaching the students. I would run some sessions, you know, on a monthly basis at the different campuses with the different sessions that I was, that I had. I called the whole thing Me, Myself and I. The first part called, which was Test Me, and that was looking at strengths and weaknesses of each student, and being able to, for the tutor to be able to see what they're good at and what they're weak at, and being able to implement that within the classroom. Then the other one, which was test me about myself, and that was looking at their culture, their background, history, their upbringing, and then trying to find the identity of who they really are, being these young youth and New Zealand born or from the islands and so forth. And then third one was techniques I need, and that's the I part, which was looking at their learning styles from visual, auditory, kinesthetic, tactile, and being able to utilize all those different learning styles and their strengths in that as well, and for the tutor to be aware of that and be able to teach using those different type of methods. And then the last one, which was the me, myself and I, it's pretty much all three put together. And then that's just really a tutor just being able to see the whole picture of one student and how they're able to fit in within a class. So a lot based around culture, and definitely based around relationship, a real relational thing, which I think is very important for Pacific Islanders and Māori.
Can you give us an example of a learner who is benefiting from this new approach?
We've got a couple of students that I've been teaching the last couple of weeks, and they're real tactile sort of learners. And what I've always would find frustrating these last 2 weeks, I'd be talking up in front of the class, and you got these kids just drawing, and he's drawing these big graffiti, graphic little pictures and stuff. And I'm thinking, they're not listening to me. But as I was talking, then all of a sudden the student, oh yeah, sir, it's just like the, this and that and that. And I was thinking, oh man, he is listening. And then he'd put his head back down and start drawing again. And so I allowed that to continue knowing that, okay, don't feel insecure, that, he is listening. And so what I said is, okay, you're welcome to, there were a couple of them, I said, you're welcome to continue drawing, I'm fine with that, I understand that now, just as long as you don't do any of that kind of that kind of drawing and stuff in your workbooks and so forth, and that's what they do. And so by the end of every session, you've got all these, bits of pieces of paper all around the table of all these drawings and stuff, and but yet I know that they've learnt through through me speaking, and so it's a real tactile thing that I was aware of. It's almost like they're real tutus, eh? But they were actually they were listening.
So in what ways are learners benefiting from this new approach?
Definitely changing their thinking, and then as well as that, using their learning styles within that culture at school, which is like as if they were at home. And I'd start seeing the development of just their way of doing things in class with literacy and numeracy.
So what advice would you give to others who want to follow this approach or method?
Definitely just hang in there, because it's not a quick fix, to be honest. And so it's all about longevity, and so slow is fast, but just to really hang in there if you're going to give it a go, because in the long term you'll see the fruit of it. You just won't see it straight away, and it takes a bit of time, a bit of patience, but it definitely works.
And so how would you summarise the overall difference that this project has had on all those involved, tutors, learners, the community maybe?
I've been getting good feedback. Tutors, they're loving, at the end of all the workshops, I think the main aim when I'm putting out the challenge, it's really about an attitude change. Sometimes us as tutors can get tired, because we have to be everything from recruitment all the way to finding them a job, to a mum, a dad, a pastor, everything. You got to be all of that. And so where do you fit in to teach, and where do you fit in to plan? And so it's making sure that it's making the main thing, which is, man, never forget your students and never forget the reason why you're here, the passion of it.
So what was the highlight of the project for you?
And it's just, you're seeing some lights turn on for some of our students. You actually can't keep them away from school, they turn up, and they're loving it. They're loving the way that literacy is presented to them, and even numeracy. Trying to this whole artistic thinking sort of concept. So they're thinking in pictures or they're thinking in images, but they're able to translate all of that into an auditory sort of way. And it's taking a bit of time, but I'm seeing some lights turn on for them.